All right, everybody, how you doing? And welcome to. Let me adjust this camera a little bit here. See which way do I go? Let's go that way with it. All right. Yes, and hello, everybody, and welcome. And have to make sure I look at the right camera. Got a camera up there above the computer, and it's our nature. We automatically try to look at the screen, and when you look at the screen, it shows you're looking at the screen. Anyway, I'll try to look up as much as I can at the particular camera so I can be looking at you. But anyway, Slim Overton here, and Portsmouth Coffee Talk, of course, is back. And if you saw last week, we had a sort of like an introduction with Louis Bracy, one of the guest hosts near the later year, couple of years of Portsmouth Coffee Talk. Of course, we went over 5 years, and I always say over 5 years because I'm thinking it was like 7 or 8. The time goes so much. I would just have to go back and really look at the dates and really see when did COVID start. But whenever we started around when COVID shut people down and put people in the house that and people were wearing masks that wanted to wear them. And so we started doing the virtual thing when COVID hit, with Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And we still, for a while, did the first half an hour of our shows uh, in conjunction with the radio station. And that lasted for a few years until, we just couldn't get that connection going. You had to have somebody at the radio station, and somebody was always there to connect us at 6 o'clock and then 6:30 in the morning. And it wasn't that person's. It was an announcer that happened to be there doing his own show, and he had to carve out that time doing his own show to let us on and kind of introduce us. And did that. That worked out well for a while, but I can understand from his vantage point what good was it doing him, and I was just about getting at the point where maybe we could give him a siphon, but that wasn't our responsibility. We weren't the owners of the radio station, and we were just a part of their public service time in the morning, which they had to have by their rules a certain amount of service, public service hours that they had to give to the public, and we were a part of that. And but I think they were in a position they still wanted to make money even during the public service uh, part that we were playing. But anyway, it wasn't that announcer's obligation to forever take time and let us put us on. We couldn't do it from our situation. We weren't hooked up that way. So, but it lasted for a while. And one other disadvantage we had, we could not take phone callers, and it would have been hard to do that with guests and within a half an hour that we had that radio spot. If we had the whole hour, we might have been able to slip some phone calls, but then we had to figure out how to do that since we weren't really connected in that way. Uh, you know, the way it could have been set up where we could take phone calls. But anyway, we did that, and then we just went all social media for probably the next 5 years or so, which was fine. I think we reached just as many people. I, excuse me, I did kind of miss the radio presence that we had. I just never knew what our numbers were with the radio because they were not a part of that system that gave them reports of how many people might have been listening during that time. So that was kind of good information for us to have in order to convince people one to come on our show, and if anybody wanted to sponsor us, we of course they're going to ask for numbers. They want to have numbers, But anyway, so we changed. So we went through the phases of suspending Portsmouth Coffee Talk for a while. We started out just doing it for the summer, which gave the hosts that were my co-hosts, all of us hosting, an opportunity to have a break from those early morning shows that we did every Monday morning. And then we hit start doing Thursday evenings as well, because we were kind of getting a demand from people that wanted to be on the show. And between people requesting to be on the show and people that we asked to be on the show, we had to sort of break it up in the Monday mornings, and we had some people that couldn't make that early 6:30 uh, meeting on Monday mornings, and we even switched it to 7, and that was even a problem for some people that had to work or just getting up that early. If you're not working, why would you want to get up that early? But anyway, we had the Thursday evening shows, so we were doing 2 shows a week. And one thing about the Thursday evening shows, we could extend it a little longer because a lot of times we had panels. We might have 5, 6, or maybe 7. We could have up to 10 people on the platform, and we had to expand it sometime to 2 hours in order for everyone that was a part of the panel to be able to properly participate. So we did that for a while, but then the co-hosts that were on the show, the Colonel Thomas, the Colonel Chapman, and Leah Drake Stith, who had faithfully been a part of Portsmouth Coffee Talk from the name Portsmouth Coffee Talk from its inception. And they had other things that they were doing, and it became difficult to fit it in, and to get up that early when they were doing other things, and family obligations and things like that. So we suspended it, and so we could figure out which way we wanted to go. So uh, did it for a little while without them, and that was okay. But then I had a few things that I wanted to start. One in particular was a YouTube platform and Facebook as well, called Our Take on It, which I would do featuring Slim and Shona. And Slim would be me, and Shona would be Shona Choke Swinson, who lives in Atlanta and does the show virtually with me. And we wanted to launch that and get that going. And so I wanted to take time to, put a lot of effort into that and getting that going. And we're still growing and still exploring, different things that we can do to make the show interesting and engaging. And we've had some very uh, engaging and interesting guests on there, and we continue to do so. So that's every Tuesday evening at 7. So I feel comfortable with saying that's going, and we're still trying to grow, but it's comfortable to come back to pour some coffee talk, because one thing I kind of missed it, and it's a lot of political conversation that needs to be discussed on a one-on-one basis and as a panel discussion of people. And I always felt like we need, if we're going to have discussions about politics in the national scene and local scene or whatever, I want, hopefully they could be solution based conversations. And what I mean by that, be something that when we're talking about it, or if we're complaining about something, we will have at least some solutions that might help the situation locally or nationally, or something that the people watching might be able to do in order to help the situation they might find themselves in because of politics. Of course, one thing is voting, but it's a lot of other activities. You act as an activist, you can do to make things better while we wait out the present administration. A lot of people like that administration, and a lot of people don't. It's that goes without saying. That's every administration. You have people that like it, people that don't like it. But right now, it's it's not up there in the favorable numbers. But anyway, that's another story for the conversations we'll have on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And the name has gone through a lot of changes. Just now, is the Portsmouth Coffee Talk Podcast Network, and I threw the network on the end of it, and I looked up and see if it was okay to put that. Did you have to, go through any kind of special procedure to have network on the back, and it said not really. It depends on what you do and how you want to do it, and I guess as you grow, we all LLC have to make sure that that's renewed to a point and consider ourselves a business, so we can get back in the business of if you want to support us financially, or we can look for sponsors of the show. But I put the network on there because I wanted to combine some other things that I was doing, like the Slim Nation one-on-one experience, which is a different platform, or a different channel. But I wanted to bring that together with under the Portsmouth Coffee Talk Podcast Network, because like to have the one-on-ones there. And on that, I had a segment called City Talk with Slim, where I would talk to local city officials throughout the Hampton Roads, and it's kind of new. So I've had opportunity to talk to mayors from other cities in Hampton Roads and throughout Virginia, and I wanted to continue that under the Portsmouth Coffee Talk. So it's a lot of different things that we have planned that we want to do with Portsmouth Coffee Talk Podcast Network, with the Portsmouth Coffee Talk Podcast Network. It's a mouthful, but it's something right now. What I want to call it, because we'll be doing a lot of different things under that. A big focus will be politics, where we're bringing in different people, and hopefully our former co-hosts will come back from time to time and contribute and participate in some of our discussions. And of course, Lewis Bracy, who was on last week when we kind of introduced it back into the social media world, will be a big part of what we're doing here. We talked about having some collaborations with some other social media uh, platforms that are out there. We're in the talks about doing that now, so we can gain a bigger audience, and whatever audience we have, we can bring that to those people, and they have platforms that are outside of the state of Virginia. So we're working on that. So we're looking for some big things, but we just had to bring it back, make sure we bring it back. And so right now, in order to accommodate as many guests as we can, we have it planned for Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Monday evenings at 7 p.m., which is when we'll do the Portsmouth Coffee Talk, the main uh, Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And but the channel is called the Portsmouth Coffee Talk Podcast Network, and which will be a combination of podcasts from other different areas. So right now, we will simultaneously show during our live shows. We will show on the other YouTube platforms, and then at some point we'll bring it all together and all be one, with which will make it a true network. And it might be other people that might want to be a part of it. So we're working on all the logistics of that, and we want to make sure we're doing everything that's social media legal, even with the name and everything like that. But we just want to be out here and be able to share information in a way that you might want to hear. It's a lot of choices out here, a trillion, more than a trillion choices out here on social media where anybody can go. But hopefully that every once in a while you'll pass through, or while you're scrolling, you'll see a particular subject that we're talking about, and we'll tune in and be a part of it. And we probably will be doing live and the videos. And most of the videos will be location videos where we're outside of my little pocket studio here and doing some things, and where we would do the video and then transfer them or upload them to our channel. But we like to do the live right now because anything we do live, we can have the audience that's watching to participate with their comments or questions. It's too complicated now to try to have some kind of call in. I mean, we're not that big of a station. Well, we're not a station at all. We're just not that big of a social media. Uh, don't have that kind of connection to go that far right now. I am. You'll see on. I call myself producer. And, and even that's at an amateur point. But the reason I put the producer up there along with the host is because a lot of things I have when I'm doing the show, I have a few screens up here that I try to follow and try to use it to add to the show by showing pictures or videos on sharing that along with whatever subject we're having, and that has worked out pretty well. Some of our guests are surprised at some of the pictures I might bring up about things they've done in the past that they might have forgotten about, maybe not forgotten about, but you know didn't know what's coming up, and it's nothing that I bring up to like for got you moments or if it's something I really have a concern about, if they have a problem with, I will ask him. But most of the pictures I bring up are already publicly out there. So, so I feel feel pretty comfortable in sharing those. But anyway, so tonight we're going to make sure every Monday night we're still working on guests and the subjects, and well, it's not going to be hard with the subjects or what we deal with because it's something in politics every day. They give us something every day, and so that's not going to be a problem. We just have to make sure we have guests, and we want to have guests that have their opinions. We want to have guests that are experts, in certain areas, especially if we covering things that might concern your physical or mental health or just finances and things like that. We want to make sure we have people that uh, are experts in that or have studied that, college professors that are teaching that. And we use a lot of professors from Norfolk State University, School of Social Work and School of Psychology with Dr. Ernestine Duncan. And we have used School of Social Work, Khalida Fairfax, and Dr. Khalida Fairfax. And hopefully we can bring in more and have some college students to join some of our panels just to see where our young people are in their opinions. And even with parental permission, hopefully we can have some high schoolers up here to it's good to see because they are our future, and it's good to see where they are, and you'd be surprised at how aware some of our high schoolers are what's going on around them. They are very observant and they see what's happening. That's why I always say, watch what you do around these young people. Sometimes it might not seem like they're paying attention, but they are very aware of what you're doing. And that old saying that we used to get when we were kids from our elders or parents, you what they say, don't do as I do, do as I say. And that was always kind of crazy to me because they could do anything they want to do, but don't you do it. Just do what I say. And I guess that was fair. They were the parents and they had the right to discipline you. But, it wasn't a good look if you were telling me not to do something that you were actually doing, at least doing it in my presence. But anyway, so we want to get some opinions from high school students. I've been trying to connect with Norcom and I believe a lot of the high schools now, with the technology, has a TV station set up, where they're doing a lot of things, and you get a lot of young future journalists that are involved with that, or some people that don't go into something else, but being in that field helps them in other fields that they might go in. So tonight I'm just going to show uh, another uh, a previous conversation I had with one of Portsmouth City Council persons, uh, the Honorable Yolanda Edmonds Thomas, where we talked about she's in her first term. We talked about her experience from budget to budget. She did her first budget when she was elected last year, and then she just went through her second budget. So it's a conversation about what she has done or experienced from budget to budget in her first term, and some other things we talked about. So that will be coming on. It's set to automatically come on at 7 p.m. tonight. So we want to make sure we had something on every Monday night, and probably next Monday we'll probably start back with our live shows of Portsmouth Coffee Talk. So look for, excuse me, look for a lot of content. Uh, Hopefully, we can spread of at least to three, 2 or 3 nights a week, or with a combination of maybe some in the morning. Now, the City Talk with Slim conversations usually will be at 8 o'clock in the mornings, usually on Tuesday mornings, and they could be expanded. It depends on how many people want to be a part of it. Now, present council members that are not running for office, I'm usually contacting them and see if they want to come on and have a conversation. Now, candidates that are running for office, what I plan to do is put out the plea that if they want to come on, to please contact me. Uh, we're not going to have any fee or anything for them to come on to talk about their platform, and this just be one of the places that they will go. But they want to come on City Talk with Slim, and if they are a candidate for this year, for this November, please contact me if you want to come on this show, uh, City Talk with Slim, that is under Portsmouth Coffee Talk. Please contact me, and I'll put that contact information here on the YouTube channel as well as my Facebook channel, and you can contact me. My email is DALLAS. That's Dallas, and you know what that stands for. DALLAS Dallas 4059 at gmail.com. Or you can just call me at 757-338-6441. Now, if I don't have you in my in, you in my phone and your name doesn't come up, you might have to leave a message, because if I just see a number, I might not answer that, because we get so many calls, either scam calls or just calls of people trying to sell you something. So uh, please be prepared to leave a message if necessary, and let me know if you want to, if you're a candidate for this November, school board or city council, and you'd like to come on and share your information. You will get some questions from me, uh, but it's going to be mostly for you to share your platform and what you plan to do or what you have done. Now, if you are an incumbent, you probably you have a record, and people can vet you by looking up your record, going on and see how you voted, or going on YouTube and watching the council meetings, as many of them as they are up there, and see how you voted, or what your conversation was like on certain issues. So that's easy. If you're a brand new candidate, you have the same opportunity to come up here and talk about your platform or what you would do or what you have to offer as an elected official that uh, will continue to help Portsmouth move forward, even from the school board side or the city council side. So don't forget, if you are a candidate and you want to be a part of this show, please give me a call or email me, Dallas 4059 at gmail.com, or you can call me at 757 338 6441. So that's for Slim Talk. Yeah, City Talk with Slim. And if you want to be a part of Portsmouth Coffee Talk, our podcast there, where we talk a lot about politics and some other stories, we will cover a lot of the human interest stories. We're kind of going to save that for our take on it, featuring Slim and Shona, so I can push that. Uh, we do a lot of that on that show, where it's a little looser, and make sure you contact us about that if you want to be a part of that show. But it's still going to be a lot of different things or areas we're going to cover on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. Uh, uh, other than other than the phone is ringing there. Other than politics, but a lot of it might be politically related. You know, we're all everything is politics. Politics is everywhere. You know, on your job, in the church, you know, hanging out in the street. It's always a political thing. You know, if you got two or three people together, you have to come to a decision about um, if you're going to do something. Are we going to turn right? Well, let's see. What do you think, George? What do you think, Bill? Okay, two of y'all said turn right. I said turn left. So I guess we'll go right, Democratic way. But anyway, so that didn't make sense. That didn't make any kind of sense. But I guess it was still a pretty good analogy. But anyway, I'm going to go off now. I just wanted to come on and I want you all to stay tuned. And if you haven't seen the video with the Honorable Yolanda Edmonds Thomas, Portsmouth City Councilwoman, please stay tuned at 7 o'clock on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. It will pop up. It will be a part of the show. And it's about half an hour show. So take a look and see what she says. She's not running. So it's not uh, a political campaign show. She's just going to talk about some of the things that she likes to see happen in the city of Portsmouth and how it's been for her first term uh, as a part of the Portsmouth City Council. So please continue to support us, and if you haven't, make sure when you go on Portsmouth Coffee Talk that you will like and you will subscribe. We really need you to subscribe. And when we say like, you know, if anytime you watch one of our shows, if it's for the whole hour or half an hour or just for 5 minutes, hit that little button that's like this. Just hit that. That's what the like is. And that is very important to any social media creators that have, especially on YouTube, to have YouTube channels to have those numbers for the like uh, up, you know, more than one or two or three or five or six or 100. You know, you want to see those likes. You know, a lot of people will watch and they might have already subscribed. So you don't have to subscribe but one time. And because we want to make sure we're showing honest subscription numbers. You know, so subscribe one time when you come on, and even if you just strolling through and you see Portsmouth Coffee Talk, the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast network, just hit the subscribe button and come back later. And there's a lot of videos you can go up there and watch right now. Some of them have as old as 5 years, but still relevant as far as the subject matter is concerned. So just continue to support us and help us rise through uh, this YouTube space. You know, we want to get to the point where we can be a part of the monetization. You know, that's one of the downfalls we had with Postal Cover Talk. All the great shows that we have, most of it remained local, or a lot of people would tell us they watched, but not everybody was subscribing. You know, and there's probably was some things that we weren't doing, or I wasn't doing as the main person setting up everything uh, to help. You get our videos out there, but you can help us by hitting that subscribe and letting people know. If they're on YouTube, just stop by Portsmouth Coffee Talk, the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast network, and hit subscribe, and just help us grow that way. And I guarantee you, the more we grow, the better the content we get, the better equipment that we use will get, the more we'll be able to have other people involved. It's kind of hard to get people involved if some sort of monetary compensation isn't involved. You know, nobody wants to do anything or work for free, and I can understand that, and that was an issue as well. But I'm just in it for the long haul anyway, even at this age. So uh, I'm going to be doing it, you know, whether I get paid or not, because it's something uh, that I have a passion for and that I like doing, and that I hope to continue to improve on doing this. I'll never get to the level of the professionalism that people who studied journalism or who have been doing it for years. But at this point in my life, this is something that that see, I can't find the words, but that pleases me, and you know that I'm passionate about, and that I just like sharing information, um, the right information. And one of the things, and this will be the last thing I'll say, one of the things with us coming back, and we had that conversation. If you go back and look at the video that Lewis and I did last week, we talked about, making sure that it's not a show when we have panels or we have different guests up there with different views. It's a show where you have to sit back and see people argue back and forth, even though that might be something popular, might be something that people want to see, because you see shows like that and the numbers grow up. But I think as far as sharing the information, the important information gets lost in that somehow, because people start picking sides, and sometimes information comes out unfact checked, or so we want to make sure that we give the right information out there, give the facts, and we're not going to always be perfect with that, but that's why we do it live, so people can come on live with their comments and say, hey, that comment you made, or that stat you just gave, that was 2 years old, but here's the real up to date facts. So that's an advantage for going live too. So people can and correct us, and we've had that done. I had people make comments during the show that corrected us. And one other thing, I keep saying one other thing. I sound like a preacher. One other thing before I close out. We we're gonna have Haven't figured out if we're going to do it monthly or every 2 months or 3 months, but we're going to have a book club up here with all men, and hopefully have a book club with all ladies, and however else that works out. It might be advantageous to have a combination, but I think you know yeah, I think that's the way we'll probably do it. All men, all women, and then every 6 months or so, have a book that is read by men and women, and then we come together as a panel and discuss it. It's so amazing when you get several people to read a book and how the interpretation of certain things. It might be basic information that everybody gets right, but there'd be certain parts of the book where people have their own interpretation of what they read and what they saw. And it'll be nonfiction and fiction. And nonfiction, historical books. You see all the books behind me that, I like books, and I also like to talk to authors and do a lot of that under Portsmouth Coffee Talk, but it'll be a part of the Slim Nation one-on-one, which is also going to be a part of, or also is now a part of the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast network. We might drop the podcast and be Portsmouth Coffee Talk network, but right now that's what it's called, because that's what it is right now. So uh, that's the way we're coming back, y'all. And thank you for hanging in there. I know some people might have come in and out, but share this with other people that you might know out there that might want to support us and look at some of our contacts or contacts. So we'll be sharing all of our shows on several of our YouTube platforms, as well as several pages on Facebook. My personal page. We have a Portsmouth Coffee Talk page on Facebook. We have a Slim Nation page on Facebook, and we'll be sharing that. And also, a lot of our content will, as in the shorts form, will go on Instagram as well as TikTok. We don't usually share the long videos on TikTok because TikTok is a platform of shorts, of short videos, and that's the way it rolls. So always make shorts of our shows, which picks out some of the important points that our guest made or our host may have made, and then I share those on TikTok. So if you're a guest, you get that TikTok exposure, you get that Instagram exposure, and we're trying to get to the point where we have some other platforms we will be able to show our content in. But some of those platforms have some rules where you have to have a certain amount of subscribers or followers in order for them to let you show their content on YouTube. And I'm also a member of the Substack, so that's new for me. So I'm trying to figure how we can be a part of that as well. Uh, there's probably some rules there as far as Substack is mostly. Uh, a lot of people do mostly writing there, opinion writing or informational writing. There's a lot of that there, and where people respond to. And most of the videos you might see there are shorts, I think. But we'll dive into that. We want to be able to expose ourselves to as many platforms as we can. All right, so you all stay tuned, take a break, get something to eat. So come back and turn on the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast network and watch at 7 o'clock p.m. and watch the video conversation I had with Portsmouth City Councilwoman, the Honorable Yolanda Edmonds Thomas. We'll see you next time, and thank you for being a part of what we do here and being patient with us as Portsmouth Coffee Talk has gone through all these different changes. But this is where we are now, and I can almost say for sure this is where we'll be for a while now. You won't see the back and forth with the name changes or the different times we pop up like now. You, well, you still might see the pop ups, especially if we out in the community at events and things like that. But there most likely will be videos that we will show on the channel. Take care, everybody, and we will see you next time. And make sure that we going off and take care.